Hello everybody! Right. How's the volume? Am I coming through okay? Am I a bit loud? Are we all good? And are you all good? This is the other question we need to know. Right, so we're on the Northern Trans-Pennine tonight. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Loud. Okay. I've turned the microphone down just a little bit. If I need to adjust the volumes, just give me a shout. How are your favourite kitty ears tonight? They're very good, thank you very much. Right, we're on the Northern Trans-Pennine tonight, and therefore I'm driving the 101 because it's my favourite train in the world. Let's do a bit of cloud, not too much. Do my usual setting, to be honest, because I'm tediously reliable and consistent and boring. I think we'll go from Leeds to Manchester, all stops. There you go. Let's do that. You're feeling better today, Francois? That is good to hear. Hey there, Gardeling Crips. How are you doing? Alright, let's get the doors unlocked. Get the gauge lights on. Put my headlights on. And destination light on. Let's get the destination set for Manchester. And go round the back. Oh, hello. 4-car as well. Bonus. And Manchester. That's it. And then set that to reds on the rear. We've got red lights. We've got Manchester. 08, 50 and 30 seconds. We're all good. Everybody happy in here? Everybody excited? You should be. It's gonna be a ride. Oh, hello. Right, over here they probably want lights, so let's turn the passenger lights on. And then down here somewhere, there's one of them. Right, that's got AWS on, even though I don't really need it. Put the key in and turn it. Put the reverser into forwards. Right, I think we're about ready. Pop the doors. Oh, did I not light up the destinations on the back? Oh well. Oh well. Can't go yet anyway. Let's run. Let's run. We can do this. Let's not crawl. Crawling is not running. Hello. Come back. Come back. Destination lights are on. Phew. All is now right with the world. Running back to the cab. Be glad to get back in the cab for a nice sit down and a rest. I wonder if I can convince someone to bring me a cup of tea. Oh no, we've got white lights there. Dope. Right. Release the brakes. No, that's the E key. You're pressing the wrong button. Put it in gear. That's the apply, haven't I? I've gone the wrong way. That's the apply button. The brake's off yet. There we go. Yeah, there's little white lights there that are giving us the clear to go. I'm a confusing little old me. By the way, if you're on the keyboard, then there's a sort of key. There's a shortcut key to get it back into the lap state. So if you put it in release, if you press the forward slash key, it'll pop it straight back into there. Same for apply. When you've got it where you want, just pop it back, and then you can manage your brakes. Release your brakes when they're back where you want them to be. Pop it back with a semicolon key. It just makes life a little bit easier. There is no console equivalent for that due to lack of buttons, but I find it not too bad to drive on the on there either, to be fair. I left the doors open. No, I didn't. Oh, I've got a green light. I was just sailing towards that gate. Is that my red light? When did I hit close? Back at the beginning before we left. Use combination of buttons. Yeah, but most people don't understand about Konami code sequences and left bumper, right bumper, A, B, X, Y. Oh, that closes the doors, does it? Oh, excellent. It's just not intuitive. I think Sam did heavy haul the other day, Hagen. Oh, hello, we can speed up. Give it a kick. Change gear. And give it another kick. You like this route, do you, Rio Fonseca? Yeah, me too. Me too. Put it in coast. Thank you, Jeff Duman. Where are we stopping? Morley, 3.2. Hey, we got Whistler on. No, that's a Whistler on parcels, isn't it? Yeah, that's a Whistler on parcels or newspapers. I'd say that's not a passenger train. Them's very uncomfortable passengers. First passenger. You're doing some services on Rhine-Ruhr. Why are there no Doppelstock services? Do you have the right route to get the Doppelstock services? Only me. There are Doppelstock services, but you need to have the route that enables them. Roy, you're afraid of not being found to drive the 101, but you like them very much. Yeah, the 101 takes some practice, but to me I always find the ones that take a bit of practice are the ones I keep coming back to, because I find them more rewarding to drive. We'll get a speed bump. There we go. Squeeze a couple more miles per hour out of gear 2 and let's get up to gear 3. We are looking at the 47 modern ECML. It's really weird. It's using exactly the same setup as on the PC, but for some reason on the console it delivers half the horsepower. It's weird. Trainboy, you didn't know about the lap shortcut? This is why we do these streams, to pass on the facts. This is why I like this route. Can you hear the clickety-clack, clickety-clack? This is, for me, is why I like this route. This route will send me to sleep. So yeah, let's look forward to that. Full power and going backwards is very fun. Baked Bean Kid watched a documentary on how they build ships. It was riveting. That's like that book on anti-gravity that I was reading. I couldn't put it down. And I send you to sleep, do I only me? That's because of my lovely calming lullaby voice, isn't it? It's nothing to do with the content being tediously boring. Come on, make me feel good here. There's a view. Heavy freight pack. Yeah, heavy freight pack makes a big difference to this route. Adds another variety. Eating a clock is really time consuming. Exactly. However, if you eat the one on your wrist, you don't have to watch your diet. No. I'll keep my day job, don't worry. Don't worry. Well, timetables and other routes also be divided by car length. So I've got no plans or anything that we can talk about on that one at the moment. But as and when, we'll let you know. It is something that has gone down really well. I didn't know how that would go down, and it seems to have gone down really well. So when timetables are worked on, we'll certainly be looking to keep that in mind. But I'm not going to make any promises on that. Not yet. This is going to be one of them services, isn't it? What does one ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing. They wave. Oh, that joke was a washout. I was kidnapped by 6 dwarves. Not happy. Stopping it slower in the 101, yeah, because you're coming down the hill. Hey Tommy Blundell, how's it going? Coming up on this red light. I'm going slower on the hope that it will change before I get there and I don't have to bother stopping. So what's your favourite train to drive on this route then, folks? Including heavy freight pack. 40, 08, 45, 47, 101. The 101 coming up a couple of times. King Pepsi, got your PC the other day, Wi-Fi dongle keeps dropping the connection every few minutes. Oh dear. "45, 47, 40. I really ought to do this as a poll because I'm coming up on asked a question, coming up on a red light where I can't pay attention to what people are saying in the answer. Yeah, go for it, Train Boy. Get one of the mods to post the link for you. Oh, we've got to do the stop. It's just occurred to me that the platform stop is before Morley. Sorry, the red light is the starter out of Morley. Put the brake gear out while we're stopped. Yeah, now we've got the green light. I use a hardwired connection on all of my machines. Even my laptop uses a hardwired connection. My son uses wireless, but and as far as I'm aware, he's getting on alright with it. But I had to replace the router because the one that came with the Virgin connection was weak, shall we say. Right. Put it in gear, release the brakes. If you've got any questions about operating the 101, shout. Now is your time to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. The 101 is probably one of the more challenging ones to drive in the game, but it's hugely fun. Cut the power, let the white bar go under, up, and power up again. Let's put the cab light on so that we've got something to look at while we go through Morley Tunnel. Next station is Batley. Commander Arto, there's no plans I can share at the moment, but if there are particular routes in Ireland you'd like to see, head on over to the suggestion forums, which I'm sure someone will post a link for you, and tell us what you want to see in the game. Yeah, I use Powerline networking here, Crucible. It's not bad, depends on stability of the Powerline, scarily enough. Why are there absolutely useless headlights on the NTP? Because the headlights are not there for the driver, Mondo. Back in this day and age in British Rail, headlights were not here to light up the distance of the track in front of the driver, like a car, for example. Those lights are there for other people to see me, and that's it. But yeah, they're basically, I mean, in Steam days, which is not that long before this, there was barely a candle on the front. Where'd you get the music from for trailers? I believe it's licensed from various places that make music for trailers. I don't know the details. That question you're definitely asking the wrong person. The music for Train Sim World was specially written for Train Sim World. We met someone at a composer at Gamescom, and he wanted to put something together for us, which was really good. So. This is a short tunnel, Tommy. What are you talking about? Morley Tunnel's the short one. Wait till we get to Stanage. Phase, the 101 braking curve. The key thing to remember with the 101 is that it uses what they call tread braking. Tread braking at this speed, when you apply lots and lots of brake, won't do an awful lot. It will brake, but it's quite slow. So your braking level goes up as the speed goes down. Which is why probably you'll find that either you shoot through a station because you're not braking anywhere near as hard as you thought you were, or you undershoot quite significantly because you put lots and lots of brake on because nothing was happening, and suddenly it lurched to a stop. So if you watch this, as I come in now, as the train gets slower and slower, the brakes become more and more effective, and that's kind of one of the tricks to learning this one for stopping it. Isn't it useful to see out of the cab? It is, but mostly the train driver is looking at the signals and they can see them perfectly clearly. They need to know where they are on a route at all times, but they do that because of their route knowledge. Right. Let's get braking down. So when you're braking, when you're operating the braking thing, you're operating, this is the needle that you're checking. So I've got the brakes held at around 6 inches of mercury here, and we're slowing down. And you'll see it slowing down relatively slowly. But this accelerometer, you'll see as we slow down, the accelerometer will keep going further and further over. Actually coming in too hard, too cold now. So as to release the brakes, you'll see the brakes are coming up. And then I can put it back into lap, and now I can put the brakes back on again. Brakes are now coming on, and when I get it where I want it, press the lap button and it will hold it. But again, so we're coming in now, and if you watch this accelerometer, as the train slows down, the accelerometer will lean further and further and further over because it bites on the brakes as it's going slower. Oh, actually, I need to take it out of gear. Here, the RPMs just come back up and relax for a minute. Why do I never look at the map? Because I'm just following where the train's telling me to go. I can look at the map if you want to see the map. We started in Leeds, and we are on our way south, and we are going for a Manchester down here. Keyboard shortcuts generally work on the console if you've got a keyboard, Kyle, yes. So, release the brakes, you can see the needle going up, put it in gear, put some power on, and away we go. Once we get towards the top of that, bring the power down, let the RPMs come down. Once it's below the yellow, you can gear up, and then you can reapply power again. If you change the gear while it's still above there, so if I change it now, it disconnects, and you notice it's gone grey. So if I now throttle down, let it come back out. As soon as it's below, it'll put it back in gear again. Now I still want to be in second, so I'll put it back there. So if you're not getting any power, check to see if the gear number is grey. If the gear number is grey, it's because it's disconnected, and you need to power down and power back up again. .1 miles, I was going to say meters, miles for Dewsbury. Keith, well, we've got some ideas for what we want to do with the map. But yes, we hear all the requests for more info. Let that come down, power up. Could a modern version of the route be possible to make? Anything is possible to make, Atrail. Yeah, the 101 you do need to think about. Because the braking curves, you have to think in advance. So I'm putting the brakes on, put the lap in, and we'll hold the brake needle where it is. And the lower that needle is, the more brake you're applying. It's what they call a manually lapped brake. I think there's a 6-car 101 train boy in one of the scenarios, the summer special, and Tees Valley has got the 3-car 101 with the centre car in it. But all the 101s are 2-car pairs, and then you just get multiple pairs. It's coming into Dewsbury. Why does the 101 make you shift gears compared to 45 or 47? So the 45 and the 47 are diesel electric locomotives. This is a diesel mechanical locomotive. Overshot that one, but that's alright, we've got a long platform. So diesel electric locomotive works by having electric motors actually in the bogies. Let me show you in a minute. So a diesel electric locomotive has the motors down here, and then the power for the motors is provided on a diesel electric, so not on this, by the big diesel engine. So the big diesel engine creates torque, which goes into a generator, which creates electricity, which goes into the motors. Yeah, so that's how you do that. If you have a mechanical, it works more like your car. Right, release the brakes. Most trains these days are, spinning hand is exactly the option. Most trains these days are diesel electric. A lot of passenger multiple units, if they're not electric multiple units, are hydraulic, which is another way of doing it. In that case, the way that it works is you've got the spinny thing, what they call the diesel bit that does the spinnies, the torque. That goes into what they call a fluid converter, or fluid coupling, or a torque converter, which is the thing that puts the power actually into the wheels. So you end up, they sound differently because it sounds like they rev up really high, and then the train gradually speeds up behind it. So things like the 158, I think, are hydraulics, for example. The 166 is a hydraulic in Great Western. Whereas the HST is a diesel electric. So there's all sorts of different physics going on behind these trains. Hymex are hydraulics, yes. Class 52 is a hydraulic. Class 52 actually has 2 hydraulic setups in it. It's got 2 engines, 2 hydraulic fluid couplings. Hence you can start and stop the motors independently. And the Gronk is indeed a diesel electric as well. Yeah, well, Mumram at the most hydraulics have multiple. So they have a fluid coupling usually is used to get the train started, and then they switch over to a torque converter when they get faster, and then sometimes they'll go to another torque converter. I think the 52 has 2 torque converters. So you get and what happens there is you hear the RPMs change as it switches between the 2. Peak. Coming into these stations way too slowly. It's a semi-automatic gearbox, yeah. So I don't. There's no clutch in this. I just change gear. It's a bit like how I drive trucks on Truck Sim, to be fair. Supposed to use the clutch, but scary career-ending red light. So for the class 45-47, is it possible to run a full electric? No. No, they're a self-contained diesel engine plus generator plus traction motors. They don't have a external power feed. Something like a class 73, which is a electro diesel, which can take third rail input, or it can use its own onboard diesel engine. That's kind of a combined one. The P32 ACDM is another one in America. They have one which is third rail or internal diesel. So mixed form ones are certainly available. Yeah, this is a full run Spidey up. Where to now? Merefield. Is it Merefield? I was getting moaned at on a recent stream over the weekend about not pronouncing it. I think I used to call it Murfield. I think it's Merefield. Someone will tell me I'm wrong. Even if I'm right, they'll tell me I'm wrong. Thanks, Trainboy. It is Murfield. So I thought I was right and I was wrong. Tell you what, there's only ever been one time I was right, and that's when I thought I was wrong. How does the underground S8 stock accelerate so rapidly? I imagine it's because they've probably got lots of traction motors on it. And it's not heavy, it's really light. And electric stuff does accelerate quite rapidly. How difficult is it to make older routes like this in particular? It's different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's more difficult. It's difficult in different. It has different challenges. With an ultra modern route, you've got the benefit of lots and lots of reference and research. You can go and visit the line. The problem is lots of reference and research can be the wrong answer to the problem, because you can suddenly find yourself spending weeks making a blade of grass look right or something daft. Whereas if you haven't got that information, you have to make it up a bit, but then it means that you can be a little bit more creative and still end up with a really good answer. The tracks on the left hand side do get used by the heavy freight pack roof. 1 second. Some of the heavy freight services are routed over those tracks. They route down to, this is probably a mistake, over here to this big yard down here in reality. So they run down that way. That 40 that I passed earlier on was from the heavy freight pack. That was one of the services it runs, and you use the shunter to make up the train in the first place. It's quite an interesting little sequence at the beginning. Healy Mills, that's the name I was looking for. Thank you, Monty. Isn't she pretty? I love the 101. It's always been one of my favourite DMUs. Did I say it wrong again? Murfield. Say it right, Murfield. It's like Murphy. Murphy's Law, I'll get it wrong, it's Murfield. Right, lock the doors. No, Rui, it adds to, so it adds more to the service mode and it adds some extra scenarios. Yeah, the ALP 45 is dual power as well. So that's third rail and overhead. It's not quite the same. Oh no, sorry, the 45 is diesel, isn't it? And overhead. Horn. Dayton. Fairly confident I pronounced that one correctly. Clickety-clack time. Enjoy the clickety-clacks until we have to slow down. Yeah, that's the one, train boy. And we swing off to the right. Jay, it's because it's old. The north, as always, is neglected and last to get anything. Huddersfield, doesn't the branch go to Sheffield? It does. So that's this bit here. And there's actually a service as part of the heavy freight pack that brings a train into here and then runs off back down that way, if I remember rightly. How can you put the distance between you and the top? Use Control 1 if you're on. Well, if you've got a keyboard on a console, it's just Control 1. Toggles it between the blue and the thing in the top left. Deaton, is it? So I got that wrong as well. I wish people would spell things phonetically. It would just make life so much easier. Do I like privatised railways or do I prefer British Rail? I like all railways at Atomic World. I like all railways. They all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses. Neither without their flaws, all with their charms. If you've got any more fences you'd like me to sit on. Coming on Deaton now. We are going to Manchester, Aidan Carter. No half measures here. Tommy, I'm enjoying the M3. I've not had much time to drive it lately, but when we were testing it, I was enjoying it. Take it out of gear before Ed starts shouting at me. Do I believe railways in the UK should be privatised or government controlled? I believe people that are know more about these things should make those decisions. Right, lock the doors, release the brakes, put it in gear and put some power on. Would I like a London Underground DLC on TSW? I like an everything DLC on TSW. Put bluntly. But yes, my son has been asking for London Underground for a long time. To the point that he's basically given up asking for it now. I think it'd be a bit different. I like the idea of commuter routes in general, especially the urban ones. Well, you say that, Train Boy, but he's been asking me since pretty much day one I joined Dovetail, so... Huddersfield! Yeah, it all stops one, Jay. Here to drive trains, not babysit them. Should they have axed the APT? I don't really know enough about the APT and why it was axed to comment sensibly on that, I'm afraid. What do I think of Sam mucking up routes? You know what? Everyone plays the game differently, and if he's enjoying it and you're enjoying watching them, then there's nothing wrong with it at all. I enjoy seeing people just having fun with the game. I don't care what they do with the game to have that fun, as long as they're having fun. It's like driving with PZB or not. No, I haven't seen... I don't get a lot of chance to watch the streams, only me. Why, what happens? Should I ask? Would thunderstorms get added to TSW at some point? Yes, I would like to see thunderstorms. He went 200 kilometres an hour on MSB yesterday. Was he driving the BR182, I presume, then? Oh, he wasn't. cab car with a 142. 142? I think you mean a 143, don't you? Oh, 146.2. Let's just throw some random numbers out, shall we? Hi Alex White, how's it going? More peak action? No, Sam's having fun, Gregory. Sam's having fun, that's what I'm saying. Everyone finds their fun. You know, whether it's getting out and exploring, it's seeing what you can do to the extremes, whether it's trying to get from A to B in some form, whether it's putting all the safety systems on. You know, everyone approaches it differently. I will answer my phone in a minute, or I won't answer it, I'll cancel it, but you'll have to bear with me. Worst possible time for my phone to ring. Huddersfield's a glorious station. It's actually an award-winning station from what I remember. Unlock left. Let's go and have a look at Huddersfield Station. Yes, I have an incredibly boring ringtone, modern ECML. Incredibly boring ringtone. That might not actually be a ring. Oh, it was a missed call. Excellent. My daughter asking for my Xbox. Right, shut the doors, put it down in there, brakes off, bottle on. No, there's no cat yet anyway. Yeah, I forgot the gear to neutral, I know. Because we're coasting. Actually, now I can put it in 2. Give it some beans. Watch Formula 1 or Formula E. I must admit, I've enjoyed a bit of Formula E, and I don't really watch a lot of Formula 1, but occasionally. Such a really familiar sound to me, the sound of the clickety-clack while in a tunnel. Let's put this on while we're going through tunnels, shall we? Slow it, 3.8 miles. Is it hot everybody where you are? Certainly if you're in the UK today, because it's really hot today. It's glorious. Were this a normal time of that we were in, and it worked, I would be out driving with my top down on my car. However, kind of let down on 2 fronts on that front, as far as that goes. It never got fixed, Vab Diva. Going up the hill, heading for Slow It. What car have I got? It's an Astra. I can't remember it. Oh, an Astra Twin Top. Sorry, it's an Astra Twin Top. Super complicated roof that looks really amazing to watch until it doesn't work anymore, and then it's really annoying. 2.5 miles to Slow It. Speed limit remains where it is at the moment, around 65. How did you pronounce that? Slow It. I've had that one beaten into me. Slow It. I thought it was just Slow It, as in SLA wit, effectively. Slow It. That's all I'm saying. It's an English place name, Volmic. Of course it doesn't make any sense. What's more, if you find someone else somewhere else in the UK named that exactly or slightly different, it will be pronounced entirely differently. It's like I live in a place called Gillingham, but in Dorset in Kent there is a place called Gillingham. Did I say Dorset in Kent? Leeds. How do you mean, what car did I own? So we've got a Prius and we've got the Astra. And we've had the Prius for more years than I can think of now. Hey Alex, how's it going? Slow it. Slaithwaite, as everyone knows it should be pronounced. Bloomin' localers. Localers? Local people. Lock the doors. Release the brakes, much like the Kraken, and gears, and throttle, and move. Finish with gear 1. Next station is Marsden. Is Marsden at the top of the hill? I kind of want to say Marsden's at the top of the hill. Yeah, it is. Marsden's where the canal runs over the top, isn't it? And we'll get to Stanage Tunnel. I am keeping to time beautifully. I don't know where your criticism comes from, Vomit. I'm running entirely to BR standard time. Almost perfectly. Any plans to make cold and dark an option for timetables? Not at the moment. You can always shut an engine down and start it up yourself if you want to. Functionality is there. Stanage Tunnel is the longest on the route. It's one of the longest in the country, actually. Transporter Max, very much like for branch line next DLC for a German route with the RS1 Regio shuttle. Maybe Bergen or Frugen, back. Make sure you posted that into the forums, Transporter Max. I'm all for little branch lines. Branch lines are my thing. No news on the editor, I'm afraid, Transporter Max. Right, where are we? 1.3 miles from Marsden. Still chugging away up the hill. Once we get across the bridge? The tunnel, it's the exact opposite of a bridge, the underbridge. We've had this before, haven't we? Once we possibly even here. Once we get to the underbridge, then it's downhill, so the driving profile on this route changes quite dramatically after the underbridge. What do you mean Matt's lost the plot? Matt never had the plot. What are you talking about? The plot consistently eludes me. TS1 has routes that cross. So three country route. There's the route called Three Country Corner that crosses two country borders: Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. And I think Innsbruck to Garmisch-Partenkirchen is crosses the country border. Remember right, if memory serves. South Wales route goes from the England to Wales. The Western Lines of Scotland goes from England to Scotland, as does West Coast Main Line North, I think. Genuinely thought that train was on my tracks there. I was slightly worried. Well, it depends how hard I hit it, crushable. It might have made it into a 2-car or a 3-car. I know Keith. I know Keith very well. Late Bean Kid. It's good to see him putting stuff up as well. Keith Ross is the legend behind Western Lines of Scotland, West Coast Main Line North, West Coast Main Line over Shap. He also worked on with Alan Thompson on one or two of his projects. I think he might have been involved in the West Highland Line South. I think, might be wrong. Keith is a wizard, and it is very, very good to see him back producing content. Where are we going next? Greenfield. But I want to drive on the black tracks. If I go on the green field, it's going to get really muddy and I'm not going anywhere. The last time I took a train on the fields, it just was bad and people said don't do that again. Ooh, that signal just went green. Keyboard shortcuts should all be in the manual, Keith Moore. Is there going to be any more UK routes? Of course there is, linear at speed. Of course there is. Here we come round and into Stanage Tunnel. You've got the canal runoff here. Well, hello. Bit of overspeed. Never hurt anybody. Let's get some speed up. It's quite a complex little area, that Baked Bean Kid, because there's a canal running in the tunnel alongside us. Not in this tunnel, but in the next bore along. You can't see it in the route, but in reality it's there. And so that it comes out into a lower canal that we drive over. But then there's the higher canal, and then that's the runoff for the canal, for that higher one. I think it then feeds into the lower one, or something. I might be making it up. Hey there, David Tribble. You've heard rumours of a 204 getting a change or something, have you, Joshua? Best bet is to go and talk to Rivet Games on their forums and social media. You will get facts from there. Rumours never help anybody. Alright, we're almost at the speed limit. It's close enough. We'll need to slow down shortly. Get down to that funky boogie. Full credit to Steve who does the manuals, Jay. He does a cracking job. And the latest designs, the one like the design that he did for the Hauptstrecke manual, is exceptionally good. Ooh, a double header. 2.4 to Greenfield. Yeah, we try and put as much information in the manuals as we can, Gregorian. We're trying to get more into them, particularly the stuff like signalling and safety systems. Skyhaven, thank you very much for the mix of sparkles. Runaway Daisy, I appreciate that. Have I seen the Unreal Engine 5 demo? I certainly have. It's very impressive. I'm a wee bit hyped. Hey Monty. Skyhaven, you're more than welcome. Glad you're enjoying it. We're a bit of a way out, but I'm putting brakes on because we're going down a steep hill now. Baked Bean Kid, any plans to use Unreal 5 for TSW? You know what the answer to that question is, Baked Bean Kid. Come on, moderators. How's the weather, Monty? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. To the point that I've had to turn a fan on. It's that crazy. I had to press the button. Humundo, I guess I didn't. Well, say it again. Would that be my biggest fan? It is indeed, Monday. It is indeed, and it's only really small. JP, if you're watching, it's the one that you got me. Finally started using it today because it was getting a tad uncomfortable in here. Right. Oh, that stop. If TSW was released on PS5, what would be different? It would be on PS5. Other than that, I don't know. What would you like to be different? Yusef Rules, can I shout out? It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Yusef Rules. Welcome to the stream. Moggy. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you very much, Moggy. RTX lighting comes into the category of future things, potentially. Haven't been announced, can't talk about, therefore. Right. Do that, release the brakes, put some power on. Let's get going to Mosley. Thank you, player 2691533333. Whoops, hello. It's better. That's better. Yeah, but what you got to remember, Train Boy, is that in Florida, you guys are used to having hot weather, and all of your infrastructure is around it. Like houses, for example, have air conditioning. Houses in this country do not have air conditioning, or most don't. Cars, quite a lot don't have air conditioning. My Astra doesn't. The Prius does. So actually getting out of the heat can be quite difficult. You're wearing a sweater. Could you not just change the air conditioning level? Save your parents a bit of money. Sorry, Dad speaking here. Oh yeah, temperatures are reaching the levels that the trains stopped running. The tracks are buckling. I can't open the window, Capri Mark III. I can't open the window in here. There's no window in the garage. Well, there is a window, but it doesn't open. Is it true the underground deep tube trains don't have air conditioning? I believe they are. In the new trains they're rolling out do. But the older ones didn't. No. You had to rely on the wind whistling through the windows. Thought that, and if you had the door open, lady, the door is open, Rob. The door is open. A lady attack is not out of the question. And it is around about that sort of time. Basically, when she decides she's hungry, in comes for an attack. And basically, she did this to me last night as well. She just walks over everything, presses everything she can find, as if to say, I'm getting in your way until you solve this. You sort me out some dinner and I'll be out of your way. And she does too. As soon as I give her food, never see her again. So it's not that she wants attention, she just wants food. Yes, sorry, I'm talking about a cat. I'm talking about my cat that attacked us on Monday's stream. How many more stations left? Well, we're on the way down the slope now, so we've got, I don't know, 4, maybe? Doesn't anyone else in the family feed the cat? Well, well, there's the question, baby and kid. My wife does sometimes. The kids won't go anywhere near because the cats get a bit feisty when they're hungry. As you may have noticed. Stalybridge. Oh, I'm probably saying that wrong. Is it Stalybridge or Stalybridge? Is it Stally in the alley or stay in the hay? Stalybridge. Stay in the Hayley Bridge. So it's missing a Y then. Basically. That's what we're saying. It's spelled wrong. Seb, there's no AWS ramps on the Manchester route because they weren't there at this time. I start sniffling by only talking about cats. Yeah, I know. It's psychological. What was the results on the straw poll? I haven't got the thing up. Someone read out the answers for me. What was the result? 1.6 miles to Stalybridge. We drop our brakes. Results were inconclusive. Well, I shall pretend to be surprised. Stadium Bridge, the 15, which starts in the tunnel, or just after it, one of the two. Oh, here we go. It starts now. Only Outer Speeds is your second favourite, is it? I only slightly blew it. Dean, Long Island is a commuter railroad with lots of start-stop type traffic, but I'll let you talk to the rest of the chat about whether or not they recommend it and so forth. Because obviously I'm going to say yes. It's one of my favourite routes, to be fair. Choo-choo, loving the stream. This is one of your favourite routes. Shame PC won't run TSW. Being from Halifax, you'd like to see the Kaldur Valley route. Yes, it's one of the routes we actually originally discussed when we were looking at doing Manchester to Leeds, was whether we do Kaldur Valley or the main line. Eventually went with this one. Oh, itchy eye. What's going on with that? Let's try and stop before the P45 light. Elio Lavras, there's no news on the editor, I'm afraid. Not yet. P45 train boy is what you hand someone when you fire them in the UK or when they leave. Lock the doors, release the brakes, put it in gear, put power. Right, 15 limit here. Roll up the gears. Oh, we've got Duff. Stole Boundless, any historic routes for Germany planned? I'd love to do a historic route actually, some really interesting stock. Right, speed up now. Ashton under line. Yeah, see now BR 103. Now you're talking. That's nice. Ace Mechanister 101 best unit on NTP and TVL. Yeah, the 101 I find really interesting to drive. There's a lot more to it. I feel like I'm playing with the controls. I'm doing more, whereas the modern units are feel like a bit more like autopilot. Right, just under 1,000 yards into Ashton-under-Lyne. We're still actually only about 6 minutes late. It's not getting worse as we go along, or if it is, it's only by a small amount each time. I'd have thought, because I'm only driving it really relaxed, I thought I would be getting ridiculously late by now. But I guess depending on your definition of ridiculous, you might already be, but... Staley Bridge branch line. That's more main line actually. I'll show you on the map. Effectively, that goes to the other Manchester Piccadilly via a place beginning with a G, whose name I can't remember. Guide Bridge, that's the name I was trying to think of. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, so this kind of comes around and then goes up that way for Manchester Piccadilly, something like that. These all then join into that line going that way. So you've got Guide Bridge, and then the Woodhead line effectively comes off that way. So this effectively is where the Guide Bridge is something like here. And that's the Woodhead line is, if you know the Woodhead line. It joins the Woodhead line, Rui. Or it joins that bit of track, Guide Bridge going into Manchester Piccadilly, which you're familiar with from the Woodhead. So next time you run Woodhead line on TS1, when you get to Guy Bridge and you go right and you see the track going to the left, you can go, that's where Northern Trans-Pennine is. Go that way for Staley Bridge. .9 miles for Park. Well, straw poll results. 101 on the 40 with 6 votes, the 08 with 5 votes, and the 45 and the 47 with 4 votes. There you go. 101 on the 40 are probably my top 2, actually. Moggy is gutted at that poll result. Wow. Now to join the routes together. They're in different sims. That's going to be a bit difficult, Badger. You know, in the high-speed freight wagon bus. Wasn't it something like the late 80s the Pacers started kicking in? Mr. Ed would know the answer to that question. If only you knew how I voted. I actually think you voted for the 40, Moggy. Is it possible to transplant a route from TS to TSW? Nope. Even down to the track is laid. The maths and the storage for how track is represented in the game is very different. And super elevation, sorry, not super elevation, easements. All the maths for calculations on easements are all. It's a different calculation mechanism for easements. So, yeah. Even assuming you'd really want to do that, because you'd end up with a TS1 route in TS World. It wouldn't look like a TS World route. It would look like a TS1 route. Which I don't think would actually do what you want it to do. 141 started to appear in 1984, although they were WIPTE property, so only went as far as Marsden. 142 started to appear in 1987. That's about what I was trying to remember. Late 80s. See? I wasn't wrong.
Hello.
Hello.
Dinner's done.
Okay. That's my daughter. Right. Is TSW one day going to move to that new UE5? Who knows? I think that would be awesome, but there's no plans. No plans that I can share at the minute. Right, 2 miles to park. You know what, I'm going to drop the hammer a bit. Does that mean the buffet car is now open? I think that's what basically they're saying. Is it easier to play TSW on a PC than a console? Depends what you're used to, ZG. I know people who played it on the PC that can't get to grips with the controller and vice versa. You can play on the controller on the PC, of course. I wouldn't say it's easier, to be honest. I quite enjoy playing it on the controller. And some aspects, like the 101, I probably prefer on the controller, if I'm honest. Mile to go, coming into Park, and then after Park I believe it's Miles Platting. After Miles Platting it is Manchester. You found the controller's your favourite method, TS1 and TSW. Yeah, controller's really nice because it's leaned back. It's just fundamentally more relaxed than hunched over a keyboard. But you've got more functionality on a keyboard because there's quite a few more buttons. Yes, on a console, if you plug in a keyboard, you can access all of the keyboard functionality. Well, overspeeding is already tracked via the score, Jay. But whistling would be good to add, but it's not that it's not as straightforward as it sounds, like so many things on the railways, because it's about if you whistle of any sort. Does it need to be a whistle of a low or a high tone? Should it be a particular low, high, low, or something like that? Should it be? And that's just for the UK. The minute you get to somewhere like the States and you need to do follow Rule 14, where there are multiple different codes for whistling. So, for example, the whistle board coming up to a level crossing, you need to do a Rule 14L, which is the long, long, short, long sequence. So you need to be measured for that, and there's technically a way that should be done. There's rules for how long that most you can be doing it. So you can't be doing a 14L sequence for more than a certain number of seconds in total. So if you start it too early, that's a problem. If you start it too early and you don't then keep the horn rolling over the crossing itself, the minute you start saying can you prep for whistle or can you score for whistling, it just becomes difficult. But fun. It's a really interesting problem to have. Can you use PC keyboard? I'm not sure what you're saying, Zetchi, because I'm using PC keyboard right now. You plug a PC keyboard into a console, yeah, just use USB. Or do what I've done, which is for my console I bought one of these things, Bluetooth keyboard, and that works perfectly. And it's a little tiny thing that sits on my desk. What's DDR controller, FabDiva? Miles Platting. Coming up on a 20 limit. Dance Dance Revolution. It's not high on the list. No, Fab Diva. It's not high on the list. Right, let's slow down for 20. Oh, I haven't got the room to run it here, no, JP. Crikey. I can barely walk to my seat at the moment. Not sure what's happened in here. I got the Guitar Hero controller working. How much more do you want? Do you think there'll be merch to buy? It's something that has been discussed a bit, Megasim, but I'm not aware of where that plan is, whether that plan is going anywhere, or whether it even became a plan. To be fair. Yeah, aware of the crashes on console, S. McAllister, for Miles Platting. It's something we have actually tried to improve in the last 2 or 3 patches, but doesn't seem to have actually done the job just yet. Miles Platting, everybody. Miles Platting. Use Rail Driver in Train Simulation keyboard. How many people here have got a Rail Driver? There's a few of you got them. You'd like one bit of space is clutch. You know what? If I didn't have the Rail Driver sitting next to me down here, I'd have so much more room on my desk. You're going to get one when it TSW supports it, Raisin. Nice. Got a mile, so let's speed up. Let's do it in the right gear, shall we? Like Gotthard Bahn on TSW. I like the idea of doing a number of the ones that Rivet Games have been doing on TS1. I've always been fans of those routes, like the Glacier Express, Heidi Express, all that stuff. They're really nice areas of the world, beautiful train journeys. We have been talking to the Baked Kid, but it's not quite as straightforward as that. The game, TSW, fundamentally has no API to support external hardware yet. Wouldn't you just map the key binding? No, because it's not a mapping as a keyboard. It's a proprietary API that they've used, but it's 4 joysticks effectively. And a whole bunch of switches and buttons. Are Rivet making anything else for TSW? You should probably ask Rivet that, Reese. I hope they are. Tour 4's been popular. I've enjoyed Tour 4. What we got sitting in Manchester at the moment? Oh, we've got a Whistler on TEA wagons. Thought for a minute it looked like a Deltic. Then I thought, no, it can't possibly be a Deltic. Then I realised it had 3 windows. Lovely. What we need is for it to just go now. Off you go. The beans. It's not going to go, is it? Denied. What do we get? Bronze medal. Yeah, well, that's because of my sterling timekeeping. Dun, dun, dun. This is a completely legitimate move. No panic, don't panic. Oh, I do like the 40s. Absolutely lovely. Right then, folks. That's been Leeds, Manchester. Literally. Leeds to Manchester in the Class 101. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sam is back tomorrow. I can't remember what he's doing. And then I will be back the day after. What is the day after? Tomorrow. What's today? Today's Wednesday, isn't it? Tomorrow's Thursday. So I'll be back on Friday. Alright, folks. Thanks very much for watching. And I will see you another time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.